Oh, I'm doing good. A little sleepy, but
Well,
doing all right.
me too. This time
I can
changes.
I
This
can
time
imagine.
change is killing me. When's
Yeah.
the full moon? I know there's a full moon this week too.
Yep. I believe it's Friday. We got a lunar eclipse. That'll be
Yeah.
cool.
I don't even need to look at at the weather to know because I work with small children.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started. We'll see if anyone joins me on Facebook Live too, but at least it's there, right? So people can watch the replay. All right. So I used to call this booking start to finish. I've added more to it because there's so many little intricacies that we want to make sure people follow, you know, a procedure, a certain steps that we do every time so that little things don't get missed along the way. Okay. So we're going to talk about the client consult, how we research our quotes, delivering quotes and closing the sales, booking details, and our next steps. Okay. Because honestly, once you make the booking, our job is not done. There's more service that we provide our clients. Okay. All right. So qualifying our client. This is really honestly one of the most important steps. This is the process that we use to determine the client's number one seriousness and readiness for booking and gather information to properly plan and customize travel plans for a client. It also is to make sure that we know who we're working with, right? We want to make sure that this person is actually booking a trip. You know, they're not just window shopping, they're not wasting our time and that kind of a thing. So, and we're going to pull up some inquiry forms in a minute to look at them. But for your client consult, so this is, I don't care who it is, you know them, you don't know them, they're your best friend, they're an acquaintance. Set that boundary and that standard that this is my business and this is how I run business. I always start with a client consult. You've reached out to me and asked me about a trip. Let's set a time to talk. Now, if it's someone you know in person and you don't want to do a phone call, you want to like go have a coffee meeting or go out to lunch and talk about it because they're your friend, totally fine. But you have to have the conversation about the trip. If you're just going back and forth on emails or texts or messenger on Facebook, it's easy to misinterpret things, misunderstand things. It's also going to take a lot more time. It, you're going to waste your time, right? It's more important that you get all the details and you can get to work because we don't get paid for our time. We get paid for the trips we book, right? So don't let clients waste your time. But be on time for that phone call, what or appointment you set. Don't be late. I'm a professional. I showed up at the time I set an appointment with you. Come prepared for the phone call. So I do not mean start researching the trip before you get on the phone call. What I mean is if somebody said, hey, we're looking for either a cruise or an all inclusive resort, we want to travel in June, and it's going to be, myself and just my daughter who's 13 years old. I got an email like that today. Either a cruise or a beach destination. It's going to be a mother daughter trip with myself and my daughter for her 13th birthday. I have emailed the client back and said, and we've had a couple emails to set an appointment. Great. What's a good time this week that you could have a phone call with me so that I can get to know your goals for this trip and exactly what you're looking for so I can get the best match of a destination for you. And then I did let them know I'm also a teacher, so typically evenings or weekends will work best for me, right? That way they're not coming back and forth with me like, well, let's do 10 a.m. tomorrow. I can't do 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'm a teacher. I'll be in class, right? I've told them when I can do it, when in those boundaries or the time frame can you do it? And when I get on the phone with them, so I've given her the option. I came back. She said any night this week. So I came back with 3 times. I said tomorrow I could do, you know, 8 p.m. or Thursday I could do 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. Which of those works best for you? Now I haven't had time to check my email yet because I was doing another training right before this, but when I talk to them either tomorrow or Thursday, I'm going to say, so you told me all that stuff I just told you, right? That you and your daughter are going to take a mother-daughter trip for her 13th birthday in June. Do you have specific dates in June or any time in that month? Do you need to wait until school's out for the summer? Because they are up here in the Northeast with me, and we are still in school typically till mid-June. All right, depending on how many snow days we have. You said beach, so either a resort or cruise. What are your thoughts on each one of those? What's drawing you to those things? All right. What are you looking for? We are going to use our inquiry forms to get details. Okay. Number of travelers. It's important to know how many adults, how many children, the ages of the children at the time of travel. Now, when we say any special needs for our clients, we want to be any food allergies, any mobility issues, any other things that we need to be aware of. Do you need special accommodations for somebody with a cognitive disability? Do you need me to contact the cruise line for sensory needs? Do you need a sharps container in your room because you take an injectable medication? Do you have somebody in your party that needs additional space for a rental car or an airline? Maybe they got somebody who's over 6 feet tall and they want to rent a car, and we don't want to accidentally get them a compact car that 6 foot tall person is not going to fit in very comfortably, right? If they need more than one room, how many and how are they splitting those guests up? Their preferred bedding type. Do they want one bed? Do they want two beds? Are they okay with if the second bed is a sofa bed? All of those things. And do they care about type of view? Hey, I don't care. I saved up. We've got the money for this trip, but it's okay if it's the least expensive room on the resort and it's a view of a parking lot because we're not going to stay in the room anyway. We're going to explore, right? Or no, we want the best view. We want, a suite, whatever they're saying. Types of resort. We want to know, what are you looking forward to doing on this trip? Are you looking forward to wanting a spa-like environment that's relaxing and serene? Do you want a party atmosphere? Do you want to be able to do lots of activities out in nature? You just want to sit on the beach for the whole week. What's the vibe you're looking for? If they're not traveling with children, do you want an adults only resort? Are you okay with a resort that has families and adults, but you want to be in the adult section? All those types of things. Okay. Do they have a preferred airline or a do not put me on that airline? With that being said, I do not typically book the super budget airlines like Spirit and Frontier for a client unless they've asked me to. I don't usually quote that unless they've said, hey, we're trying to save money on the airfare. You could quote these. Typically, I'm not quoting those though. Okay. But some people have very strong opinions for airlines. Some people, the reason they want to do a specific airline is because they've already accumulated points and they want to keep doing that. Right. I have a client who texted me today. Their trip is sort of last minute. They're going in April, Easter week. We just booked it 2 days ago. Unfortunately, they couldn't get seats together, not because we didn't get that rate, but because there was only 5 seats left on the whole plane and 3 of them were going. She texted me today and she said, don't worry about calling the airline this week to adjust our seats. We used points to upgrade, so we didn't have to pay out of pocket for the more expensive seats that would be together. Right? Now, I could have done that for her had she let me know, but some people like specific airlines because they have points, because they're part of a loyalty program that gives them free bags, whatever the case may be. So we ask, where do you want your seats on the plane? Do you want me to do a rate that includes your baggage? Because we can pay a little bit more for the flights and have checked bag included, right? Whatever the case is. Are their passports up to date? Do you currently have a passport? And a lot of times they ask, will it be good for at least 6 months after your trip? Because there are countries that require that. Many of the countries in the Caribbean require that. Okay. If they say we don't have our passports, they say, okay, where are you in the process of getting them renewed or getting them? Now, if their trip is not for 6 months or a year out and they've already started the process, I don't worry about that. But I do advise, like, hey, if you don't have them yet and haven't started the process, you really should. Okay. And are they ready to book now? All right. I ask questions like this. If I find you what you're looking for in your budget range, are you ready to book with me as your travel agent? Are you ready to put down a deposit? Yep, I'm ready to book whenever you find what we're looking for. Okay, great. We're just kind of looking for an idea right now, but we're not going to be ready to book until May. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. Unfortunately, the pricing today will not be what the pricing will be in May. I'm going to reach back out to you about a week or two before you're ready to book. And I'll double check that that's what you're still looking for. And then I'll get a quote ready for you. We can't always guarantee pricing even 24 hours. I definitely can't guarantee it for 2 months from now. I've had times when flight prices have changed over $500 from, 3 days ago. And I have to tell my client, I'm so sorry, the price went up. So that's why it's important to know when are they going to be ready to book. So we give them the quote right when they're ready to book, right? It is very important that you get a budget. And I know this is sometimes a hard question because a lot of times from a client, I will get this. I don't know, just not too expensive. Well, not too expensive to me is going to be a completely different number than not too expensive to a millionaire, right? Everyone's definition of, somewhere in the middle range. I don't know what that means to you. We need a number. And a lot of times clients don't want to give a number for two main reasons. Number one, they're afraid you're going to use every penny of it if they tell you how much they're willing to spend. And they don't really want to spend it even if they can. Number two, a lot of people have zero idea what it should cost or what it typically costs. So when I get those answers, I say, well, how much are you comfortable spending on this? With the knowledge that I'm going to find you the best value to give you everything you're looking for. And I'm not going to max out your budget or go over budget unless I absolutely have to. Giving them that reassurance that I'm not just trying to use up every penny that they have available. Sometimes we need to break it down like, okay, what are you thinking is a good amount per person? Or how much do you typically spend per night on a hotel? Okay, you typically spend around $200 a night per hotel. And now we're looking at an all-inclusive experience that gives you all of your food, your entertainment, your alcohol, everything. So something that's typically $200 per night is probably going to be, I don't know, $500 per night or more, right? So that they get an idea of that, all right? So before we go into what we do once we consult, there's a couple of places we can find this. And then I know Noelle is on my team. Vassell, who is your mentor?
So it's Lonnie Parker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you under Amy Moore? Did she send you the info?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So you can get, and I think they might be on their Start Me's, but I have my own Start Me, so that's why I'm not 100% sure. But when you come in to the Travel Knowledge website, you are able to go into recorded trainings and go to travel forms and basics for Travel Knowledge, and all of the inquiry forms are right here. Okay. And then Noelle, there's a couple of spaces you can get it. So on that getting started guide I sent you as a new agent, it's going to be in that middle part, information and forms, but we do also have it on our team website. And I think Michaela is bookmarking them to our Facebook page as well. But if you go under booking basics, I know there's cookies. Don't tempt me with cookies that aren't real. All our inquiry forms are there, as well as the credit card authorization form. So I recommend that agents have those downloaded, add them to your Google Drive. What I do in my Drive, I have a folder of all of my forms. So these are my templates, and then each time I have a client, and I've adjusted my format a little bit, that works better for me. But every time I have a client, I just copy it and I put it into, I have a folder for each of my clients so that I can stay organized. And within those, if they've done multiple trips, I have a folder for each trip. So,
Can I ask you a quick question?
yep.
Do you have a business email that's not like Gmail or Yahoo, or is it a Gmail email?
Mine's a Gmail.
Okay.
I do have a business account on Gmail.
Because I found, because I
Or on
tried to
Google.
use Outlook,
Uh-huh.
and when I'm trying to like do, this is a totally different thing, a tangent kind of, but
Yep.
when I try to sign up to do postings on like a job post ad, it won't let me because it's not a valid business email. So that's why I thought I'd ask.
Okay, so for team building
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
I do have some other emails.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
And it is more like a business email so that
Yeah,
it doesn't
they're
get
at like
flagged.
at travelingwithtasha.whatever or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So connect with Amy for that.
Okay.
But this is what I use for my
Yeah.
clients because this is what I've
Okay.
had since day one.
Okay.
All right. So moving on, I've talked to my client. They're going to be ready to book. I do ask things like, are you working with another travel agent? Have you quoted this online already? Because if they have, I want them to send me a screenshot of the checkout page so I can compare apples to apples, right? I had a client this week that said, hey, I found this trip for less money. And when I looked, and they sent me a screenshot, I didn't even ask for it. And when I looked, they were booking basic economy flights. And I said, well, here's the deal. Those basic economy flights are going to give you some limitations. Number one, they're non-refundable even with travel insurance. You're not getting your money back if you cancel even with travel insurance when it's a non-refundable rate like that for basic economy. Second, you're traveling with a child and you have no ability to pick your seats with basic economy. That's why there's a price difference of about $300 total. We're talking for 3 people, it was $100 difference per person. She's like, yeah, please do it with the higher priced flights then, those types of things. We're also going to, at the end of that call, before we get off the phone, we're setting up a follow-up appointment. please give yourself a minimum of 24 hours for the follow-up appointment, but more than that as a new agent. All right. You know, with my schedule as a teacher, sometimes I talk to somebody on a weekend and I'm like, hey, I'm going to talk to you again next weekend because I work full time and I don't have as much availability, or if I'm working on multiple quotes, and lately it has been tons and tons and tons of quotes all at once. So look at what your schedule allows and give yourself enough time. And as a new agent, give yourself enough time to also speak to your mentor.
Mhm.
We highly recommend working directly with your mentor for a minimum of your first 3 to 5 trips so that we can help you every step of the way. Okay. So we set that appointment ahead of time to deliver the quote. Now, when we're researching our quote, it is our job to shop the vendors. Okay. There isn't a no matter what I go to this vendor. Are there places I always go first? Yes. But I also check things and make sure that I'm doing what's right by my client and what's going to give me the best bang for my buck too, right? And as a newer agent, that is something that you can have the conversation with a mentor and say, hey, this is what I'm finding. Should I be looking somewhere else? Those types of things. Because we might know, okay, you're on this vendor, but if you go here, you're probably going to get a better price for your client and a higher commission for yourself. Right? And that's just from experience from what we're doing. You do want to check reviews. Whatever hotel or resort I'm looking at, I Google it and I look at the Google reviews. You do at this, when you do it, it sets to most relevant. I always adjust that to most recent in case something has changed. With that being said, know that there are some people that won't ever leave a review unless something didn't meet the expectations they had set in their head, even if that wasn't what was going to be provided at that resort. Something didn't meet what they wanted. They had one negative interaction with somebody and they blow up the experience about the whole trip. So if you're seeing like a couple of bad reviews and all the rest are great, trust those all the rests. I often say take reviews with a grain of salt because you don't know. But if everything overall looks good, it's probably good, right? Make sure you include all the elements of the trip. Did you get flights? Did you get transfers to their resort? Did you include everything they wanted in their resort? They wanted excursions. They wanted, you know, whatever else they're asking for. You don't want to miss that, and you want to double check that you included things. And no matter where you are, you can ask somebody to take a look. Hey, can you just double check? It looks like I included everything, right? As a sort of new agent, I wasn't super new, but I used Vax. I use Vax a lot. But most of what I had been booking were all inclusives to the Caribbean. And I was on Blue Sky and I booked a Hawaii trip. And every time I book through FunJet, through Apple, an all inclusive, it automatically put the transfers in. They were always there. And then when I went to Blue Sky, I was like, oh, it's the same. They're all under the same vendor. I didn't even catch that the transfers weren't there. You want to know when I found out? When my clients had been traveling for 15 hours and they called me from the airport and said, they say we don't have a reservation for transfers to the from the airport to the resort. I got on the phone. I called the resort. They didn't have transportation. Period. They don't provide it. And I said, well, who do I call? What transportation companies are available? And they told me there was basically one. And I paid for that out of pocket because I messed up. It was my mistake. I booked it for my clients right then and there, and I booked their return. That person has booked 2 other trips with me since. She just got back from an all-inclusive trip this past week. All right. It's not that something went wrong, it's that I handled something that went wrong. that mattered. But if I had said, hey, can somebody look at this and make sure I included everything, that mistake wouldn't have happened. All right. I completely missed it because everything else I had booked in that way included them automatically. And I just, in my brain, they were there. Right. Now, remember, our job is not to find the cheapest price or to beat someone's price. Our job is to provide the best value for what they're looking for and high quality service. Because sometimes cheap also means cheap experience. Okay. I'm not, if somebody comes to me and they're like, I want you to beat this price, I'm sorry, I'm going to find you the best pricing for what you're looking for, but I don't play that game because you could spin your wheels forever to do that. Right?
Do you still work with clients who are shopping around and are working with other travel agents?
I mean, if someone tells me they're working with another travel agent, I'm going to say, it, with all due respect to that other travel agent that you've contacted first, I don't necessarily take that client on because I have zero reason to just try to beat the price of another travel agent. And if they've already spoken to them, I will say, continue working with that travel agent. And if they don't provide for you what you're looking for, feel free to contact me back.
Got it.
I wouldn't want somebody who's already working with me to then go find another travel agent at the same time either. I kind of feel like that's a little professional courtesy. And that's my personal opinion. I'll be honest. Right. There are definitely people who will. I do not. Let me come back to here before I go to the next page. I also hear a lot of people say things like, I provide at least 3 quotes to my client at different price ranges. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't do that. If I find exactly what my client is looking for in their budget range, why would I give them more choices? You know why clients come to me? To save themselves time because they're overwhelmed, because they don't want to have to make the decision themselves. If a client specifically says, can you give me 3 different options? I will. A lot of times I give one and I have a backup plan ready in case that doesn't work. But I qualify my clients so well that usually that one is going to be the right fit. Okay? Because that qualifying call with me is not an interview, it's a conversation. And I get to know the person as a traveler. I have zero reason to quote over budget just for the sake of giving them a higher option. Right? I don't want my client to have to leave that phone call with 3 decisions to make. I want to give them one thing to make a decision about. All right. And I book a ton of travel. A ton. I've already booked $90,000 this year working my business part-time. So I don't give them tons of quotes because then what happens is we're going back and forth and I'm spending more time than what I'm going to get paid for. Okay.
Tasha, do you have what's your niche?
I have a few. I do Disney, I do cruises, I do all-inclusives, and I do food allergy friendly travel because I have food allergies myself. So that kind of goes with any destination too, but it doesn't mean I won't book other things, but those are my specialties are Disney, cruises, and all-inclusives. And then with any type of travel, helping people with food allergies safely navigate travel. So, and I would say out of that, I do tons of all-inclusives and cruises. I want to do more Disney because I love planning Disney. I
was thinking of doing food and wine tours or
Ooh.
like, but I know that's super niche or niche, whatever you say, however you call it.
I think it's niche, but I
Niche.
mean, you can absolutely. You just need to think about where are those clients so that I can advertise for them.
Yeah.
Like, where's the market for me to put that advertising so they can see me?
Mhm.
Right. Please stay up to date on travel requirements. While we can't do the things for our clients, we can make sure they're informed about them. Travel.state.gov is going to be your site to go to, right? It's going to give you passport details and validity requirements. How long is it required for a certain country? It's going to tell you if visas are required. Okay. It's going to help you know if there's any forms your clients need to fill out before entering those countries. Now, I will tell you, our vendors are pretty good about sending us those forms as well. Dominican Republic, there is a form for sure. There is in Mexico, there's a tourist card. They don't have to pay anything for it, but they do have to complete it, a digital card, and sometimes in the airport, they have to fill out a physical card. It's basically just ensuring they have a return ticket in less than 180 days back to the United States. Aruba has something that now includes a $20 per person something. It's important to look these things up so that you can let your clients know. It will provide details if there's restrictions on people with a criminal past being able to enter. Like there's countries that even if it's just a past like DUI, they can't enter, right? So we want to look that stuff up and make sure they don't have to tell me what it is, but I can say, hey, just so you know, this country's really strict about any kind of criminal history, including car accidents. I don't think there's really any with car accidents, but that you're found at fault. But DUIs or OUIs, whatever it is. Again, it's not our job to tell a person they can or can't go, but if we inform them and say, hey, just so you know, right? Passport processing times. What are the current times it's taking for passports to be processed? All right. That's important to know because we want to make sure we have that information ready for our client as well. When we deliver the quote, we want to be prepared with the information. I typically get something typed up, I get something ready. I do now use a CRM that I can make it look real pretty, but previously I would just use something like a Word document, a Google Doc, something like that. I know people who make like a little slide or something on Canva. But I'm delivering my quotes over the phone. So I don't need something fancy to send my client. I send it after we talk, or if it's complicated, like a multiple destination or a detailed itinerary, I will send it to them right before we get on the phone so that they can look at it as we're going over it. We don't want to just email a quote to a client. That has been my number one way of getting ghosted by a client. When I just send them the information and I don't get on the phone.
Wow.
It's the number one way I get ghosted because now they have all the information.
Mm-hmm.
You did all the work and they go book it themselves. People don't feel like they can do that when they're on the phone with you, right?
Right.
You know, and that kind of a thing. So now, will I have something prepared so I could send a follow-up email after we talked? Absolutely. Because there are people who do want to look over those details, right?
Yeah.
Now, as an experienced agent, are there times when I have clients who are repeat clients and they prefer I just email it and I know they're going to book? Yes. But I would never with a new client or new
Mhm.
prospective client, right? But when we're on the phone, we can make that trip come to life. And even if I haven't sent them anything, I could be texting them pictures. Look at the type of room you'll have at this resort. Look at the view of the beach. Look at the pool area. Look at what this
Mhm.
cruise ship has for amenities. I could send those pictures as we're talking as well.
Mhm.
I can say, here's what I found at this resort that gives you this that you were looking for.
Mhm.
You said that you really wanted to be able to do, you know, you love the water, you love being out on the water, in the water. This resort has a snorkeling area right off their beach. This resort also has non-motorized water sports like kayaks and paddle boards because you told me that your family likes this, right?
Mhm.
Showing number one that I listened to them and I found what they were looking for. And as I said before, less is more when it comes to options. I don't want them to still leave that meeting going, I don't know where I'm going to go.
Yeah, you're the first trainer who said you give like pretty much just one option.
I do.
Yeah,
And I know that there's people who train on multiple options,
3.
at least 3. I don't
Yeah,
do it because one, it's more work for me. 2,
yeah.
it's work for the client. And now sometimes do I have to go back and rethink things? Yes. But more often than not, they love what I've come up with. Right.
Mhm.
And I definitely don't agree with the low price, middle price, high price situation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't agree with that because I want to find what you're looking for in your budget range, you know, because that's what's going to make my client happy. So I mean, that's the way I do it. And it has been working for me. So
What do you say if a client asks you on the phone, like, have you ever been here? How do you know that this place is good? Or like, have you ever been to this area at all? And you haven't. I think that's like one of my concerns is like,
I honestly don't have people ask me it.
oh, okay.
I, I, I mean, a couple of times I've had people ask and I say, you know what, I haven't, but
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to other agents who've sent people here.
Okay.
And that kind of a thing.
Got it. Got it.
And I
Yeah.
do usually ask people, hey, has anyone had clients go here? What are their experiences? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So before we book, they've told us we're ready to book, right? We need to make sure, number one, all the client info is accurate and matches their documents. Spelling, birth dates, any addresses we need, documents and you know, their issue date, their expiration date, their whatever we need, their passport number, any TSA pre-check or global entry numbers they have, any loyalty program numbers for the airlines or cruise line loyalty numbers. We want all of that stuff to make sure that we're putting their information in accurately because they won't allow them to travel if it's not. Have they accepted or denied insurance? Now, we're always recommending insurance, and I always have my clients sign something if they deny it. Always. Because, and it says, I have been told about travel, something to that. I don't know the exact wording, but
Mm-hmm.
I have been informed about the benefits of travel insurance and the risks of not having it. I am denying travel insurance because I don't want them to come back and say, well, she never told me I could have travel insurance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Protecting myself. Now, when we get ready to make the payment, we must have the credit card authorization form signed, and it can't just be a typed signature. It has to be, it can be a digital signature, but they have to use a markup app or honestly, I've had clients who print it out and sign it and send me a picture back because
Mm-hmm.
I have clients who don't know how to sign digitally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially people when I work with some older people.
Yeah.
Or I also use, and admittedly, it costs a lot of money. I use DocuSign,
Oh, yeah.
but
I do that for work.
it's around $300 a year for a
Yikes.
single membership. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
There are some other ones out there that have like you could use like a free trial, like free PDF fillers, and some people use Adobe Acrobat and those types of things. I use DocuSign because it's easier for me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take that as a yearly expense for my business because it solves a lot of problems for me. There's also people, and I know there's a way to do things in like Travel Joy and Travify if you're paying for those. I just haven't transferred stuff over that way.
Mm-hmm.
We do also need a photo of the ID of well, I get photos of everyone's passports that's traveling when it's an international trip anyway, because I want to make sure I'm matching when I put the info in. But whoever's paying, if it's not an international trip, especially, we need a photo of their ID and a photo of the credit card. Archer requires both of those things.
Mhm.
And if we get any pushback, or even before I give them a chance to give pushback, I say, this is to protect both you and I so that I can ensure that you are the person whose credit card this is, so that nobody has taken your credit card and is using it to book a trip,
Mhm.
right? And that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I really haven't gotten pushback from people. They're just like, you're gonna keep that secure, right? Or delete it after you don't need it anymore. I said, absolutely. Like, I'm not gonna keep this once I need it. Like, I've had clients come back to me to book another trip and they're like, you still have my credit card? And I'm like, no, I don't have your credit card a year later. I
Right.
deleted that, so I just ensure them I'm gonna keep your stuff secure. But we want to protect ourselves from fraud as well.
Mhm.
That also brings up, if you're booking anything last minute, it's really important. Archer has a policy for within 21 days of booking.
Mhm.
Um, and some of them we have to submit things to Archer. It's not everything, but it's the same procedure no matter what, as far as what we get from a client. But if you book within 21 days of travel as a US agent, any of these vendors, you have to submit the documentation to Archer, because they're going to vet it and then they're going to decide if that trip should be canceled if it looks fraudulent. All right. So you
Oh,
just come back in and you go to submit and you fill it out, right? Your ID, your email, your name. Did they accept insurance or decline it? You upload the credit card authorization form signed with the booking number on it. So if you had to get the booking number after, you just add it before you upload that. Their driver's license or passport and their credit card with the number showing, and then you submit it. Okay. That's all it is. And if you have questions about what you need to do, what you need to do with a last minute booking, you can contact Archer and ask them. They will help you. All right.
mhm.
If for some reason the travel reservations are not being made with the traveler's credit card, all right, what that means is, hey, I'm booking a trip for my wife. I'm booking it,
Yeah.
whatever it is. This must be submitted to Archer. Um, and I think, wait, this is, I feel I haven't made one like this, so they can't use a third party. So like it can't be a business card, like a business's card.
Oh, okay.
As far like that's my understanding of that. And then I feel like Archer makes that booking for some reason. Or this is all. It doesn't matter the within 21 days of departure, it doesn't matter the vendor. This is all
Mhm.
booking within 21 if it's
Mhm.
not the traveler's credit card. That's what it is.
Okay.
Except Expedia Tap, apparently. And essentially, if you don't do this, they're saying that you're forfeiting your commissions because it's that serious. And you would be held responsible for any fraudulent charges if you didn't submit things. So
Did
if
you
you have
say,
questions,
sorry.
call Archer or talk to your mentor or talk to Amy. All
Mhm.
right. You do need to we need to proceed with caution with any last minute requests, especially if they come from a stranger.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
how did you find me? Are there any red flags popping up? Right? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Would they not get on the phone? Do they, whatever the case may be. Just
Right.
if something feels off, pause and get help from someone else.
Mhm.
Right? When we make that booking, we want to triple check. Did we use the correct airports? Did the flights somehow change and they accidentally gave us a flight with a stop and we quoted it with a nonstop? The names match the passports. The birth dates are correct. The travel dates are correct. We have the transfers and the travel protection. Check that you have everything there. We add frequent flyer numbers. We add TSA PreCheck, which is the known traveler number, and global entry, and we add the passport info, right? Some other details. If they're traveling with a minor outside the country without both parents, it's always a good idea to recommend they bring a notarized letter from the other parent saying that they're authorized to take the child out of the country. This is especially important if the child has a last name different than the parent,
Mhm.
okay? But it's always a good idea because even when it is a parent with the same last name, they may never be asked for it, but they could be asked for it by customs. And that's unfortunately because of child trafficking and kidnapping and those types of
Mhm.
things. We
Yeah.
want to make sure layover times are long enough. If it's a domestic connection within the US, a minimum of an hour, longer if they have small children that they're going to have to maybe change gates that are far away. They might have to get that kid a meal. If they're really little, they might have to change them, whatever the case may be. International, we want a minimum of 3 hours
Oh.
at their first US, like coming back at their first US destination, they have to go through customs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It takes a while.
I mean, there are some countries that they can do it ahead of time. I have a sticky note. Bahamas, Bermuda, Aruba, Ireland, Canada, and the United Arab Emirates, they do customs before leaving their destination to come back, and they don't have to go through them again. But we want to leave time because sometimes they have to go different terminals from an international terminal to a domestic terminal. So
Mhm.
3 hours is the safe amount of time. Any special needs are added to the reservation, allergies, requests as well. Any special requests at the time of booking, right? After we book, we want to send a confirmation to the client showing them the payment they made, as well as have them check the spellings and birth dates of all guests. What I do, I send the confirmation email to myself, and then I forward it with my own business information,
Mhm.
right? Because I want to, then I know that I sent it to them, and I'm not like counting on the vendor to send it. Please check everyone's names because within 24 hours of booking a flight, you can get it changed easily. After that, they may have to cancel it and rebook it, and there might be fees and all kinds of stuff, right? You also want to give your clients a timeline of what to expect from you and when their final payment dates are. So many times on social media, I see the people who are bashing travel agents. They'll say something like, well, they booked my trip, so they took my money and they haven't contacted me since. Well, sir, when is your trip? Well, it's next year in April. Okay, they got nothing to do for you right now, right? Right?
Yeah.
But if we're proactive and we give our clients a timeline of what to expect from us, then
Mhm.
they know, right? When I
Yeah.
book Disney, hey, your final payment, if you want to make any payments, you let me know and we'll make them whenever you want. Here's your final payment date. As far as things I need to do for you to help plan your trip, the first thing I can do is 60 days out. I can make your advanced dining reservations and any enchanting extras. If you're wanting me to do that, let's plan a meeting about a week before that. Here's that date. And I'll
Mhm.
contact you a couple weeks before that to set up a time to discuss and plan. Because I do book all of that for my clients,
Wow.
and then I book their advanced lightning lanes and all of those things. So, you know, let them know when you're going to do next steps. Hey, we booked your resort for a year and a half out. Flights will become available, around this time. That's when we'll get back in touch so that we can add your flights to this reservation. Those types of things, right? Confirm your bookings with the resort, not just the vendor. It's as simple as calling and saying, I've just made a booking through FunJet. can you give me the hotel's reservation number or confirmation number? It's not always the same. Here's what that does. You've now checked that that reservation is in the resort's system, and you've gotten their number, their reservation number or confirmation number. Because when you book a package, we get a confirmation number, but that's for the whole package, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's as simple as calling and saying, can I just, get the reservation number? And now you know if they're in the system. And at that same time, you could put in the special request with the resort. I also want to make sure that this has gotten communicated with you about this booking. One of the travelers has food allergies to this, and this. One of the travelers has mobility issues. Can you confirm for me that the vendor requested an accessible room? Right? Those types of things. And you do it all at once.
Mhm.
Then you want to submit your commission tracking form immediately. Even if you made a booking on Expedia Tap or on RoomRes, that's pay later. It doesn't matter when they're making the payment, doesn't matter if they paid just a deposit. We need to submit the commission tracking form immediately the day we get the booking number. As of January 1st, Archer has gotten stricter. If it's not done within 30 days of the booking being made, they're going to reduce your commission.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is they've been having to track down people to figure out who they have to pay.
Oh,
And the amount of resources they're putting into that is costing a significant amount of money to them because people just aren't filling out the form. All right. So
Okay.
I do it as soon as I fill it out. Now, on our team, we do have a booking shout out form. I believe that TK has one
Mhm.
that you fill out your booking shout out so that we can recognize you. Now, I tell my agents, if you don't want a public shout out, still fill it out and write, please don't shout me out. We want to
Mhm.
put you in our booking total so we know how much our team booked for that month
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. All right. But I mean, it's kind of fun to be shouted out, right? Now, I do a bunch of things on my calendar as soon as I make my booking. I add things to my calendar. First of all, I'm going to add and I use a digital calendar. I like to say I use a paper one, but it's over there and it's still on January and I don't.
Which digital calendar do you use? Is it not?
I use my Apple Calendar because I have a Mac and I have an iPhone.
Oh, okay.
It syncs together. I know people use Google Calendar as well.
Mhm.
You could use your Outlook calendar if that's what you're using.
Mhm.
But I like the iCalendar because I have a Mac and a iPhone.
Mhm.
So they communicate with each other, they send me reminders, all kinds of stuff. But I put their travel dates in the day before they travel. I put check whoever in for flight. You know what I mean? Like I put all that in
Yeah.
there, their final payment dates in. Now, 2 to 3 weeks and a day before final payment, we send the reminder and the credit card authorization form. Hey, your final payment date is coming up here. Here's a credit card authorization form for that payment. Let me know when between now and this date you want to make that final payment.
Mhm.
I typically tell them a final payment date 3 to 5 days before the actual final payment date
Yeah.
so that we have a buffer in case something goes wrong. 2 weeks prior to the trip or a week to two, we're going to, confirm everything again. You can ask to see if they'll give any complimentary amenities, right? Hey, are you willing to send a bottle of wine? Or
Mhm.
even if they don't have anything to send, maybe your clients are traveling for an anniversary or somebody's birthday. Would you
Mhm.
be willing to just send them a note on this day of their trip that says, Happy birthday from your travel agent and your name on it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
A week to two, double check to see if any of the flights changed or updates. Now, if you book through Bax, I will tell you, I get emails all the time if there's been a flight change. Sometimes the flight change is as simple as they changed the flight number. Everything's the same, but they changed the flight number, or they changed it by like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Most of the time, those are the flight changes I get. Sometimes I get major changes.
Mhm.
If those happen and they've notified me whenever it happens, if it's something that's still not going to work, I call them to see what we can
Mhm.
do. But their seats, their flight number, their flight times, all that stuff. A week prior, we're going to reconfirm everything. Make sure that those transfers are confirmed in that week leading up to it, right? And I do in the week leading up to the trip, when they're ready to leave, what I do for clients, where's one I know I can pull up quick? I will send them a document like this that has all their details in a concise format.
Oh,
They
nice.
can print this out so they don't have to search through emails or search
Yeah.
through information we've sent previously. Their airline confirmation number, their times. I've already confirmed it's whatever's most up to date, right? Flight numbers, where it's leaving from, where it's going. Letting them know I'm going to check them in after 23 hours before their trip. The only time I ever make sure it's right on the 24-hour mark is Southwest.
Yeah.
That's the only one I worry about. And
Yeah.
then this is copied right from the vendor.
Okay.
I click to give more info about the transfers and I copy and paste whatever it says. So this is not always the same, but if there's a phone number to call on there, all that stuff, if they have to contact a vendor, if their flight's late or whatever the case is. Now, when they come back, this one in particular, I can't confirm the departure. They
Mhm.
have to do it at the desk of this representative at their resort. So the resort has, the transportation has a representative there,
Yeah.
right? And then this is that important information in the unlikely event of a deviation. They need to notify as soon as possible about their schedule change, right? Their hotel, what type of room. And then I do also put if there's any inclusions, like you should be getting $200 in resort credits or whatever that
Mhm.
is. And letting them know if there's any issues, please contact me during your stay. But this way
Nice.
they can save it, they can print it, whatever they
Yeah.
want. So it's all in one place.
Do you have a template you use for the quotes? The
Hold
demo-
on. My mentor, Michaela, does. Right here, I'll put it in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you.
And then, oh, I think this is that my template? That is my template that I send the week of. So I'll give you that one too.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
How long have you been doing this part-time?
June will be 3 years for me.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes. And then we do check them in for flights the day before, right? Do we have to? No. Is it a really nice gesture? Absolutely.
Yeah, that is really nice of you.
Well, especially the day the day before they're coming back. Who
Yeah.
wants to think about, I need to check in for my flights when they're on their last day of vacation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like if they're on a cruise ship and they don't have the internet package. Typically, the cruise ships will let you sign into a travel site to do something like that. But again,
Mhm.
who wants to have to find a public computer site on the computer on the cruise and take care of it?
Yeah.
Nobody, right?
I guess the only time that would be an issue is if you yourself are out and
Yes.
then you couldn't do that.
I
Like
do
during
typically let my
holidays.
clients know, like,
Yeah.
but I do things when it's absolutely necessary for clients when I'm traveling. And I will post on my Facebook business page that I'm out of the office and I will only be responding to current travel clients who are traveling with urgent
Mhm.
needs, so that people know that. And I put an away message on my email stating the same thing. And that any emails I will respond to within 72 hours of returning on this date, so
Mhm.
that people know. Just so that they don't think they're being ignored either.
Yeah.
Don't forget, day before their trip, like text them, be like, I hope you have an amazing trip, right?
Yeah.
While the client's on their trip, I mail a thank you card. Now, what I do, I did get mine on Vistaprint because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to fill them out every time. Where'd the... And it just says like, there they are. I need to clean my desk. It's a mess. So this is already typed and printed and everything. Like they're in my colors of
Oh, nice.
thank you. And then It's art, my logo, a QR code to my business page, please
Nice.
asking them to leave a review, and then just thanking them. I appreciate your support of my small business. I put 2 business cards in there, hopefully one for them and one for them to give to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got like little stickers to seal
Mm-hmm.
my envelopes. I got envelopes that are even already addressed with my address. I don't have to deal with it. Again, I work full time. I need to save time where I can, right?
Nice. Oh,
Um,
it seems like a lot of like above and beyond types of tasks that you're doing.
Well, and some of this is what, you know, gives that great service,
Mm-hmm.
gets you referrals and gets your clients coming back again. And, you know, for those people who are like, well, I can just book it myself. Why would I use a travel agent?
Mm-hmm.
These are those services you're paying for, right?
Yeah.
The extra touches. Now, this is still on my to-do list of making an email traveler feedback form that I can send. What did
Yeah.
you like? What didn't you like? Was this good for kids or whatever the case? You know, I'm still working
Mm-hmm.
getting that to send. Um, you may want to also add to your calendar, when do you think the commission payday will be, right? And you can also put your client's info in your calendar, their
Mm-hmm.
anniversary, their birthday, because then you can reach out to them, keep them on your mind. Like just send them a quick email, happy birthday, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my travel agent's
Really
thinking of you,
nice.
right? Keep them
Right.
fresh in mind because then they're like, oh, we want to book another trip. During travel, be aware of any weather issues, right? Keep track of those things when you know clients are traveling so
Yeah.
that you can anticipate if they're going to call you with an issue potentially. Check the flight status, know their travel details. And if there's an issue, we do have to handle it during travel. Flight delays or cancellations. Now, they usually can get quicker service in the airport, but
Mm-hmm.
it's as simple as telling them, hey, here's what you need to ask at the counter. And there
Mm-hmm.
is, and I didn't pull it up ahead of time, but on the Evolution Travel Cafe Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
if you search, there's a flyer that they've posted. Like if your client's flight gets canceled or delayed, here's what they ask at the counter.
Okay. Yeah. I
Right.
think I've seen it.
Yeah. Any missed connections. Now, a lot of times if they have a delay and they missed a connection because of the airline's delay, the airline will re-ticket them, but anything. Issues with the room, any concerns, any missing elements from their book travel, right? If the airline doesn't provide for them a hotel because their flight was canceled or delayed to the next day, because they don't always have to,
Right.
reminding them, hey, I can get you a hotel for tonight, and let's keep receipts of everything because you can get reimbursement from the insurance. Anything you buy for food in the airport, it's as simple as texting them, hey, don't forget to keep receipts during this delay
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get reimbursed by travel insurance if it's, I mean, if it's $10, they probably don't need to get it, but it could add up depending how long that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But any questions? I know this is a ton of information. It's a full jam-packed hour with all of it.
Yeah.
But we just don't want people missing any elements because
Yeah. Thank you.
we want you protected and your clients served.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, I had actually started like last summer, but then I fell off when
Okay.
I went on a trip and then I fell off like with everything. So this was like a refresher course for me.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So I
Well, I'm
appreciate it.
glad you were here and it was helpful.
Yeah, I loved getting training from different people too, so that I can see like what works best for people.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
I
your time.
know maybe I don't do everything the same as other people, but it has worked for me. And I know others,
Yeah.
my mentor, Michaela, does things very similar to how I do as well.
Yeah.
So, and
Awesome.
it has caused some great success for us. So
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
you're welcome. I'm glad you were able to join me. Have a
Yep.
great rest of your night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.